Hello everyone. So in this section 13.3 I want to talk about a very special point. This point is the intersection between the graph and x or y axis. Okay, this point we call that intercept point. So it depends on the graph. Sometimes the graph will intersect the x-axis. Sometimes the graph will be intersecting the y-axis. Sometimes it's intersecting both x and y-axis. So it depends on the graph. Okay. If it intersects the x-axis, we call the point is X-intercept point, and if it intersects the y-axis, we call that Y-intercept point. And because this is a point, so every time we write a point, we have to put it in order pair form. Okay. Now I want you to take a look at this graph, and this graph is a line, represent a line, actually is a line. Okay, something like this. Actually, in the previous video, at the end of previous video, I already introduced a little bit already x and y intercept, but in this video I want to talk more about this. Okay, so what if I have the line like this, going through this point and this point? Okay, let's see. I have it go through like this. Okay, so you see that this line over here intersecting the y-axis at point A, and it's intersect the x-axis at point B, and I can have the coordinate for this 2 points. Point B coordinate will be -2 and 0, right? And point A have coordinate will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 4. Okay, and point A we call the y-intercept point. Okay, and point B we call the x-intercept point. Okay. Well, by looking at the graph, you see that I can write a coordinate of this intercept point. However, if they give you a function, equation, and they ask you to find x and y intercept point, the way you find x and intercept point is the same as you evaluate that equation or that function when x equal to 0 or y equals 0. Okay, when I say that, it's kind of very hard to visualize, right? Let's go through the example that you know right away. Okay, for example, I have something like this. I give you the linear equation like this: x minus 3y equals 6. Okay, and I ask you to find x-intercept point and y-intercept point. You see that I'm very careful when I mention it is x-intercept point or y-intercept point. If I say x-intercept value or y-intercept value, it's going to be a little bit different. If I say x-intercept value, then For example, in this case, if I say x-intercept value, then it will be -2. If I say y-intercept value, then will be 4. But if I mention point, then I have to say x component and y component. I have to write in order pair form, -2, 0 or 0, 4. Okay. Alright. So how are we gonna find x-intercept point? You see that every x-intercept point in this graph right here, in the intersect point, in x-intercept point has y component as 0. Has y component as 0. Okay. Y component as 0. So it means what? It means that in order to find x-intercept point, you're gonna set y equals 0. Then you solve for x. Okay. Alright, so how you do it? This is what you're gonna do. So you're gonna put x minus 3, and you're gonna replace y. You will replace y with 0. And I solve for x. So 3 times 0 is 0, so x could be 6. If you stop right over here, this is x-intercept value, not x-intercept point. So you have to write 6, 0, then this is intercept point. Okay, be careful, alright? Because so many students, they solve for the x, then they stop right here. They don't write it in order pair form. If you don't write it in order pair form, it's not a point. Okay, so you have to write it in order pair form. Okay, so that is the way to find x-intercept point. How we find y-intercept point? Alright, easy. You're gonna replace x with 0. Okay, so it will be 0 minus 3, y equals 6. Then y equal to -2. Again, if you stop right over here, this is y-intercept value, not y-intercept point. Okay, so in order to get y-intercept point, you have to write in order pair, and the order pair will be 0, -2. Okay. So what do you notice? What you notice is that when we have x-intercept point, the y component is 0. When we have y-intercept point, the x component is 0. Okay, okay, all right. So x-intercept point and y-intercept point is nothing but the intersection point between x and y axis. Okay, and the graph. And the graph could be a line, or the graph could be a curve. Okay, a graph could be a curve. What if I have something like this? Example 2. Instead of having a graph, instead of having a line, I will have a curve like this. What if I have a curve like this? Okay. Alright. And you see that this curve right here, this curve right here intersect x-axis at 2 points, right? I call the point A and point B here. Okay. So this is 1, 2. This is -1, -2. So what we have? We're going to intersect the x-axis at 2 points. So we have 2 observations. We have 2 x-intercept points. Right? We have 2 x-intercept points because it's intersecting the x-axis at 2 points. The first point will be what? Will be -2, 0, right? And the second point will be point B, will be 2, 0, right? So you see that it depends on the graph. Sometimes we have more than one x-intercept point, for example, in this case. Sometimes we don't have any y-intercept. Okay, sometimes we have one intercept, one y-intercept, and two x-intercept. It could be like that. So it depends on the function. It depends on the equation. Okay, it depends on the graph. Okay. However, in this course, you just need to deal with this type of equation. Okay. I'm not gonna give you something hard, so don't worry. So I just give you something like this, the one that's easy, so that you can find x and y intercept. Okay. So if you have a vertical line, for example, in the previous video, I gave you the vertical line, right? The vertical line has equation is what? X equal a constant, right? Then in that case, we have only one intercept. This is X intercept. Okay. Okay. Example 3. I'm gonna just I mean, if I say like that, so I'm afraid that some of you forgot. So I think I'm gonna just go ahead write out the example. Okay. So what if I have this is y, and I have this is x right here, and what if I have the vertical line like this, and this is 2, so the equation for this line is vertical line is x equal 2, right? So you see that we have only one x-intercept point, and its x-intercept point over here is 820, right? I name it point A. Okay, so we have only one x-intercept point in this case. We don't have any y-intercept point. However, if we have horizontal line, something like this. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, y equal 4. Okay, then do we have x-intercept point? No, but we have one y-intercept point, right? I call the point B, and the point B has coordinate is 0, 4. So no x-intercept point here, and in this example is no y-intercept point. Okay, so you see that it depends on the graph. The number of intercept point depends on the graph. Okay. All right. So let me see. I think that's all for section 13.3. A very easy section. In this section, you just need to know what x-intercept point and what y-intercept point. Okay. So in conclusion, okay, let me summarize everything in this section. What is x-intercept point? X-intercept point is an intersection point between a curve or the line and x-axis. What is y-intercept point? Y-intercept point is the intersection point between the curve or the line with y-axis. Okay, and in order to find x-intercept point, we replace y with 0. In order to find y-intercept point, we replace x with 0. And make sure that your answer must be in order pair form. Okay, must be in order pair form. Alright, I think I'm gonna stop this section 13.3 over here. Next video, we'll be talking about section 13.4. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.